Terry Holland is our next competitor at the start. He's 36 years old from Pittsfield, Massachusetts. Sliding for 8 years, Clark. He's got some pretty impressive accomplishments.
You know, he certainly does. Fourth at the World Cup in San Moritz in February '88, and from there he's really accelerated. He's got 2 North American titles and a USA title last year.
Well, he's got some long frame on him, too. Start time, 5:46, 1500s, and I'm sure just like our bobsled sport, that's going to multiply by 3 down below. And just like in luge, just like in bobsled, you got to have that good start at the top in skeleton.
Oh yeah, without that, you know, you're just losing time. This is, you know, all the way down. But you know, well, he's only 200s off there, and he might pick it up here in these bottom curves.
You know, funny, his sister, believe it or not, competed last year against the men in the North American Championships in Lake Placid. Too bad we didn't see her up here too, but that's a pretty interesting dilemma. Nice sliding family. 1800s, that's not bad considering you're 1600s behind at the start, so he's got a pretty good line going down here.
Well, you know, he's got a better line too, because he's not losing that time in multiples. He's just losing a little bit of time. He might be able to pick it up here in the bottom.
Terry Holland from Pittsfield, Massachusetts, making a run. The leader right now is Frank Steffen from Strathmore, Alberta's got the lead. Time on the left, but a time to beat. It's not all.
Look at that. He made a good comeback. I think, you know, he's going to sort it out at the top there. I think he'll have a much better run the second run.
59.72, considering the 1600s down at the start. He drove a much better line down at the bottom. So Terry Holland, impressive on the bottom part of the course. Back up at the start, 32-year-old Gary Williams from Calgary. He's been sliding for 2 years. A lot of athleticism up here. You can't just be anybody. You got to have some legs and some speed.
Yeah, they've all done other sports, you know. They've just turned to this in the last couple of years, you know, once they've gotten other sports. But you can see there's a good time. You know, his best time up here is actually a 5:36, and that was at the end of last year's and when he was in peak shape. So I think he's really going to come into it now.
5.42, second best start time we've seen so far. Another thing, too, a lot of the U.S. pilots, Randy Will, Bob Sled, a couple others, started off in skeleton, and they claim that driving a skeleton sled gives them better eye contact with the ice and the line down the course.
I think it's got to help getting on this track and learning it from, you know, right from down on your chin level. You know, that's, you know what's happening. Oh, he was
a little late on that corner.
He certainly was, and he's lost a lot of speed in there. Maybe he can pick it up.
Up and down the Kreisel. That's not the way to go. He's got that Darth Vader shield on. Looking pretty nasty coming down this course.
He's taking some time off himself now. He's bumping his shoulder, bumping the sled, coming off the curves early. That's really going to hurt him.
Well, of course, 2 years sliding compared to Terry Holland, who just came down 1:00.11. Good enough for third place, but boy, that one mishap up there at curve 8 might have cost him a lot of time.
Yeah, he's got some distance to make up.
Our next competitor, you're looking at his shoes. It's Harvey Garrett from the United States, Mount Washington, Massachusetts. He's done very well last couple of years in this sport. One of the favorites in today's competition. Let's take a look at this all-important start. Dig it out, come on. Here he goes, 5:31. Harvey Garrett, 5:42. He's at a detriment of 1100s. He's the guy that's been smoking them all week in practice. Everybody's been talking about how well he's been doing, but he's got himself behind the 8 ball to start with.
Well, he's getting a good line there up top. He's nice and clean right in the center of the track, and he's setting himself up for his curves.
Well, here it is, but it starts to really drop off. You and I have both been on this track. We both know that's where you really start to pick up speed. Here they are in the big three-quarter combination. Omega, oh, he's real high twice.
They're not making that transition from the 6th curve into the 7th, and that's really going to hurt there.
I think that exit of 8 was a result of the bad Omega 7.
Yeah, it was, and it takes a lot of speed out of you. There's a lot of speed you can lose in that Kreisel, and he's done that just there.
Well, Orvie Garrett not having the best of his runs. Of course, the first man down was Frank Strathmore, and he's had the best start time and the best finish time. Here comes Harvey Garrett into the finish, 59.63. The leader, Harvey Garrett, didn't look like he was having a good heat. Out of nowhere, he surprised us. Here he is, thumbs up, thumbs down. Hey, Orvie, thumbs up.
Yeah, he's going to pick it up for next run. I think he's really going to make a move then when he cleans up those soft spots.
Look at him all the way to the top of the track. So that concludes the first heat here of this North American Skeleton Championships. The United States, Harvey Garrett in first place. When we come back, we'll bring you the second heat of the North American